Hello and welcome to YNWA Transfer News, your ultimate source for all Liverpool FC transfer news. Our first news is this. Newcastle hold talks with Alexander Isak amid Liverpool transfer links. Ruben and PF. Step. According to the Daily Mail, Newcastle co-owner Jamie Ruben and a PIF delegation personally met Alexander Isak at his home in Northumberland. The move comes as the striker continues his strike, pushing for a transfer to Liverpool. Ruben and Newcastle director Jacobo Solis met Isak at his house in Northumberland ahead of Monday night's Premier League clash with Liverpool at St. James's Park, the report revealed. The Magpies are eager to reintegrate the Swedish forward into Eddie Howe's plans, with discussions over a potential new contract reportedly on the table if Isak commits to the season. Liverpool interest rejected. The 25-year-old striker has made his intentions clear, expressing a desire to join Liverpool. However, Newcastle's stance remains firm. As Craig Hope writes, they have signed no strikers and have rejected Liverpool's only offer of 110. The Magpies are insistent that they will only sanction a deal if two replacements are secured and if Liverpool break the British transfer record. Reintegration a priority. With the transfer window closing soon, Newcastle remain determined to hold on to their star asset. Sources told the Daily Mail the meeting was seen as a step in the right direction, with the club still preferring to keep Isak. Chairman Yasir Al-Rumayyan, although not part of the home meeting, was present at St. James's Park for the Liverpool fixture and is believed to be backing efforts to get the forward back on side. Uncertain future for Isak. The situation leaves Isak's future finely balanced. While the player is firm in his stance, Newcastle's resolve to retain him could see a reintegration path open. As the Daily Mail summarized, it has always been the club's preference to keep Isak. Whether that preference outweighs the lure of Liverpool remains to be seen. Our view. EPL Index Analysis. From a Newcastle fan's perspective, the Isak saga is frustrating but not unexpected. The Magpies have finally re-established themselves as a top-4 challenger, and to lose a striker of his caliber to a rival would feel like a massive setback. Fans will be asking why Isak is prepared to force a move now, especially given the progress made under Eddie Howe. Many supporters will agree with the board's hardline stance. 110 miners, even in today's market, feels short of Isak's true value, particularly without replacements lined up. The demand for a British record offer from Liverpool makes sense to fans. If Newcastle are to sell, they must do so from a position of strength. There will also be a sense of betrayal. Isak is loved on Tyneside, and his decision to strike risks damaging that bond. At the same time, supporters know how the modern game works. Players often push for moves, and Liverpool's interest is tempting for any striker. If Newcastle can convince Isak to stay, perhaps with an improved contract, fans will welcome him back, though the trust may take time to rebuild. If he does go, most would want the deal to be record-breaking, ensuring the club can reinvest and maintain momentum. Ultimately, Newcastle supporters will hope this story ends with their star striker wearing black and white again, not walking out at Anfield. Alexander Isak to return to action after crunch talks with Newcastle Chiefs over exile. Alexander Isak is set to return to action next week after he was picked for Sweden's World Cup qualifying matches against Slovenia and Kosovo. Isak is currently training alone after he missed Newcastle's preseason tour of Asia, having made it clear that he wants to join Liverpool. The Reds have had a $110 million offer rejected by Newcastle, who value Isak at around $150 million instead. The striker escalated the situation last week when he accused Newcastle of breaking promises they made to him. Club chiefs did hold crunch talks with Isak on Monday in an attempt to reach a resolution, with the 25-year-old informing them that he still wants to join Liverpool and has no interest in playing for Newcastle again. Despite Isak's lack of game time, Sweden boss John Dahl Tomasson has named the forward in his squad for their upcoming qualifiers. Sweden are set to face Slovenia on September 5th. Before meeting Kosovo on September 8th, Isak is joined in the squad by a number of other Premier League stars, including Arsenal striker Viktor Gyökeres, Tottenham midfielder Lucas Bergvall, and his Newcastle teammate Anthony Elanga. When asked about his decision to select Isak, Tomasson admitted the ongoing saga is not perfect. He said, "I am very happy that Alexander Isak wants to be in the squad. He is a huge player. The situation he is in is not perfect, and he has not trained with the team. But he is a player who can decide matches, and he wants to be part of our squad. The World Cup is important for Alexander Isak. It remains to be seen what the future holds for Isak, with less than a week to go in the transfer window." Speaking after Newcastle's dramatic 3-2 defeat to Liverpool on Monday, Toon boss Eddie Howe said, "I've not been party to talks on this for a long time now. So, I've been preparing the team, giving all my energy to the players that want to play for Newcastle. I think that's where my energy is best. I'm not party to the talks that have been happening, so I've got no idea where that stands. From our side, we want clarity. We want to move forward. We want the narrative to change because we're in the start of the season now. We're into the action and we've got to get results and we've got to try and focus on what we can control." Inside Trent Alexander-Arnold's Real Madrid woes as star benched after turning back on Liverpool. This summer saw Trent Alexander-Arnold make the most significant decision of his career, and he's now grappling with the fallout. In a move that sparked controversy, Alexander-Arnold left his childhood club Liverpool to join Real Madrid. For those not aligned with Liverpool, it was a bold and thrilling move that saw him team up with Jude Bellingham under the guidance of manager Xabi Alonso. At 26, Alexander-Arnold is highly ambitious, having previously expressed his desire to revolutionize the right-back position and win the Ballon d'Or. His journey with Real is still in its early stages, but it's safe to say things haven't quite gone according to plan for Alexander-Arnold so far. The initial buzz surrounding the transfer has faded, and the reality of life in Madrid is starting to sink in. Here, we provide an insight into how Alexander-Arnold is faring at his new club. Club World Cup let down Madrid, forked out more than $10 million to secure Alexander-Arnold before his contract expired at the end of June. This hefty sum underscored the value they placed on his participation in the Club World Cup in the United States this summer. Alexander-Arnold was immediately included in the starting lineup, playing 5 consecutive matches and providing 2 assists as Alonso's team advanced to the semi-finals. However, an injury kept him out of the semi-final, and Madrid was trounced 4-0 by Paris Saint-Germain, bringing the team's tournament run to an abrupt halt. He swiftly secured the right-back spot, with Dani Carvajal still on the mend following his anterior cruciate ligament rupture last October. However, circumstances would shift rapidly. Carvajal rivalry, Alexander-Arnold, had no misconceptions about his standing at Madrid, understanding that Carvajal was working his way back from injury. The 33-year-old remains a real icon and wasn't simply going to relinquish his place without resistance. Alonso recognized he couldn't merely bench Carvajal, and that rivalry for positions was beneficial. "It's not going to be about being fair or unfair. I'll just have to divide what's there," he remarked before the campaign commenced, when questioned about the right-back slot. "I have many positions double-covered. This is one of those, with 2 exceptional players. Carva, who's been training hard and is much closer to his original level by now, and Trent from Liverpool. That's amazing for improving the level of the squad. We're going to be playing tons of games, and we need to have that top level." Challenging La Liga debut Alexander-Arnold emerged victorious in the initial contest when he was named in the starting fixie for the opening La Liga game against Osasuna last week. Real secured a 1-0 victory, though it didn't unfold as planned for the former Liverpool star on his maiden La Liga start. He surrendered possession 15 times and was withdrawn in the 68th minute by Alonso. The manager's substitution was warmly received by supporters, who afforded Carvajal a rousing reception upon his comeback from injury. Spanish journalists, particularly those covering Madrid, are renowned for their forthright views, and Alexander-Arnold received considerable criticism following that match. Carvajal's established history at the club ensures he remains a favored figure, which only heightens the challenge facing Alexander-Arnold. Relegated to the bench for Real Madrid's second La Liga fixture of the campaign, Alonso benched Alexander-Arnold in favor of Carvajal, who featured from the start in the commanding 3-0 victory against Real Oviedo. The England defender was restricted to a brief cameo appearance as a late substitute before receiving a clear message from his manager that squad rotation would be inevitable. "It depends on what we need in terms of the game, the workload, and the opposition," Alonso said. "I haven't made a decision for the next month. I'm going to see how we recover, and to make sure that people feel important and ready to start, come off the bench, or be able to be in the next game. This is important for the stability of the team's performance. Today was a game to show that we're still improving. We want to continue like this. Now we'll prepare for the Mallorca game before the break. We have 20-odd players in the squad, and I'm going to try to get the best out of all of them. Sometimes you can have a few minutes and be important. Today, Vinny was important. My intention is that everyone contributes to the team. That's going to be the norm." What Federico Chiesa was spotted doing immediately after YNWA winner. YNWA's last-minute winner for Liverpool against Newcastle sparked some wild celebrations. The 16-year-old winger neatly tucked away Mo Salah's pass into the 18-yard box via Dominic Szoboszlai's superb dummy to secure the Lions' share of the points at St. James's Park. There was pandemonium on the pitch as Liverpool's substitutes bench sprinted across the touchline to celebrate with the club's youngest-ever scorer. What did Federico Chiesa do after YNWA goal? You could forgive all attending in the Northeast for feeling a little shell-shocked by the teenager's late contribution. Federico Chiesa, evidently overwhelmed with emotion after YNWA's winning goal, was spotted initially running in a completely different direction as his teammates went over to swarm the left winger. Chiesa and YNWA already proving their worth to Arne Slot after a difficult start to his Liverpool career in 2024-25. Federico Chiesa has quickly impressed his importance upon Slot in 2025-26. There was a match-winning goal against Bournemouth following his second-half introduction from the bench. He also played a part in creating space for YNWA's last gasp winner. The former Juventus attacker drew Newcastle signing Malik Thiaw outside of the box to create space inside the area for Mo Salah to exploit with a fizzed ball across the face of goal. We're only 2 games into the Premier League season, so we don't want to get too excited, especially as far as our 16-year-old prodigy is concerned. But the early signs are there that the pair can contribute when called into action, which explains why Richard Hughes and Copers are standing firm on the idea of snapping up Alexander Isak, or apparently, no one. Outstanding Liverpool defender. Close to agreeing loan move. Liverpool have conducted a remarkable transfer campaign thus far this summer. We've seen Florian Wirtz arrive on a potential British record fee, which could reach 160 million. Hugo Ekitike, Milos Kerkez, Jeremy Frimpong, Georgi Mamardashvili, and Giovanni Leone are among the other headline arrivals. But in order to finance those deals, not to mention make room for the new faces in the squad, several players have been shipped out. Liverpool ready to offload players. Darwin. Núñez and Luis Diaz have departed the strike line, while Ben Doak, Jarell Quansah, Tyler Morton, Cowie Kelleher, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and Nat Phillips have also left. But Liverpool aren't finished there. We remain hopeful that Alexander Isak will arrive before the transfer window closes on September 1st, while Mark Guehi could also be added to the defense. In terms of outgoings, Harvey Elliott and Kostas Tsimikas have been linked with RB Leipzig and Roma, respectively, and it remains to be seen whether either has a future at Anfield. MK Dons want Calvin Ramsey. Liverpool are also using the loan market this summer, with Owen Beck and Lewis Kumas among those already sent out. and they could be joined on loan by a promising young defender. Calvin Ramsey, 22, joined the Reds from Aberdeen for around £4 back in 2022. He played twice for Jurgen Klopp's senior side during his first season at the club, but injury curtailed his progress. Several loan spells have followed, with varying degrees of success. Klopp. Ramsey is outstanding. Last season, he spent time out on loan at Wigan and Kilmarnock before returning to Anfield this summer. Ramsey is currently with the under-21s, but looks set for a temporary move before the window closes. Now Dave Ockop reports that MK Dons are interested in doing a deal for the Scottish international. MK Dons are in League Two, eyeing promotion following a difficult campaign last term. Ramsey, described as outstanding by Jurgen Klopp, requires some first-team football in order to get his promising career back on track. Let's hope he has a successful spell if this move to Milton Keynes goes through. Thank you for watching. Like and comment. Subscribe.